Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all our participants for today's STEM Plus Talk session. So I think we don't want to waste any other time, so we just start while waiting for the other participants to come in. Okay, before we proceed, I would like to introduce our speaker for today. Okay, Dr. Liza Mahadi. She is the Associate Professor from Department of Electrical Engineering, University Malaya. Dr. Liza, she is also currently the head of Electromagnetic Radiation and Devices Research Group, and also the deputy head of OKU Integrated Design, or KID. And then her experience, she has been actively explores way to enriching life through science and technology. So Doctor has been actively involved in many STEM and also STREAM modules development. And also Dr. Aniza is a certified coach. And then Dr. Aniza also previously was the CEO of Pusat Science and Creativity Terengganu. Okay, that was the brief introduction for our speaker for today. So I would like to pass the session to Dr. Liza for today. Silakan,
Okay.
Dr.
All right. Thank you. Shahira, yeah? Shahira?
Yes.
Is that Shahira?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Shahira.
Okay.
And could you please share the PowerPoint presentation? It is not here now. Okay. All right. Okay. So thank you, Shahira, for facilitating this session. And very good morning, Assalamualaikum, and a very good morning all. I don't know how many participants. We have about 19, I think, in here. All right, 19 participants, and I was informed that all of our participants are, wait, yeah, graduate. It's either your final year or you already graduates of 2021 or 2022, and either you are already working or you are still searching for the right job or the right career for you. All right, so today we're gonna go a slightly on a different platform as compared to our normal engineering platform. It is what we call it a great platform to help us to realize our engineering skills. All right. Okay. Next slide, please, Shahira. Okay, before I continue, may I get some feedback from the participants whether you can hear me clearly?
Yes, doctor.
All right, great. Thank you, Fazlin. Okay, so I think let me share you a little bit on the general of characteristics of professionals. I would say that as a student as well, we can regard ourselves as in professional field, yeah, of which you need a few years to graduate and you enter the job market. So it is not too early to prepare ourselves for professionalism. So we can say, what are the characteristics of professional? Professional characteristic normally refer to the qualities a person exemplifies in working environment. If you are still a student, in student environment, yeah, in academic environment. So we can say that professionalism that includes standards for behavior, how we carry ourselves, our presence, the way we communicate, the way we relate to others, the way we collaborate in teamwork and so on, and the employee's ability to embody the organization's values depending on the job scope, yeah, or depending on what type of organization that you are working with, and do what their employer expects of them. Um, well, the point is we go align or we align ourselves with the purpose of the organization. So, professionalism is necessary for the long term success of either a professional themselves or the organization. So, what are general characteristics? Number one is professional appearance. Professional appearance, not just a physical appearance, yeah, not just the way you dress, okay, the tools that you use, but actually how you communicate as well, your body language and other what we call it intangible, that means your presence, yeah. Good communicator, how do you communicate to your colleagues, to during your interview, for example, okay, on or to your subordinates, to your higher up, or to your what we call it other workforce, yeah. And of course, reliable, responsible, accountable, and ethical behavior. Ethical behavior is important, and it depends on the organization. For example, if you are working with a certain organization that deal with children, then you have to ethically conduct yourself relating or related to that field. If you are working, for example, in a chemical industry that need a proper what we call it measures in terms of and safety, so ethically you have to um, follow the right way in ensuring that um, the what we call it health and safety is well addressed. And this is important, how we separate personal and professional. That means how do we manage emotion. Later we will talk about awareness, self-awareness of our strength, self-awareness of our own emotion, self-awareness of the environment around us, so we be able to conduct ourselves professionally. And of course, this is a well-known positive attitude, meaning you're proactive and so on. Effective time management organization, that means you're organized. When, for example, the job start at 9, you have to be there at 9. uh, if you are still a student, the class start at 10, you have to be there at 10, unless there are uh, reasons behind it. For example, it was heavily rain outside, or your other class for example, finish quite late. So those are okay. Otherwise, very important for us to adopt the effective time management and organize, especially when it comes to you deliver a certain project deadlines. We have to meet a certain project deadlines. We have 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So we have to plan and manage our time properly. And of course, focus. This one, you will know yourself what is your focus. Some people might have a longer focus, some people might have a shorter focus. If your focus is shorter, you can always train yourself to have to what we call it, to lengthen your focus span, or you chunk it down to smaller section in order um for us to, for example, finish the job, complete the job given, meeting the deadlines, etc. And respectful, okay, mutual trust and respect, um, and so on. Yeah, there are many more for us to have in terms of characteristics of professionals. Okay, next slide, please, Shahira. Okay, now let us talk about self-awareness. Uh, how aware are you of your own emotion, for example? How aware of you for your own strengths, your talents, your abilities, your skills, what you can develop further, and so on. And your self-belief, your confidence. Okay? Do you have normally when we believe we can do it, normally we can deliver. All right. I believe that I can, for example, complete this task in a month. All right. So I will go with the proper time management, organization, collaboration, and so on. I will explore many options so that I can finish the jobs given on time or the projects given on time. So we will talk about self-awareness, self-belief a little bit. Self-belief includes self-confidence, and it will link very closely with responsibility, accountability, and so on. Yeah, and of course your strength, talents, abilities, skills, and passion. Yeah, these are all referring to your personal and professional environment. Okay, so most of us now, I think some of you are still in the university. Okay, in your final year, finishing off your degree. Some of you just graduated. Some of you already started um, your career and so on. Yeah. So this is something that we can reflect, we can think, reflect of our personal and professional environment and how we're going to plan our way forward. Okay, next, please. All right. I would call self-awareness is an enabler. So self-awareness enable the person to find the right direction in life and career. Life and career normally goes hand in hand. It will go hand in hand because if we are happy in our personal life, we will be okay in our professional life. If something happen, for example, in our personal life, in a way, it will have slight impact, if not big impact, in our professional life. So it is important for us to be aware or to know our self-awareness that help us to find the right direction in our life, in our career. And actually, self-awareness enable the person to build relationships with oneself, meaning with ourselves and other people. All right, because when we are aware of our strength, we know what we are good at. When we are aware of our weaknesses, we know that perhaps this scope of job, better off I delegate it or I collaborate with others to help me because I'm not that good with this scope, for example. However, I can contribute in other scope which is I'm quite good at, for example. Or when we are aware of our emotions, okay? We know when we are angry, we know when we are sad, and we are aware of our environment. We don't approach a certain people or try to communicate a conflict, for example, if the person's not in the position to handle that conflict. That is awareness, yeah, awareness of our environment. So in the interview as well, it is important, okay, for you to aware of your environment when you first go into the room. Okay, they are assessing you and you are assessing them. We'll see what we call it. You dance to the music. You see what is going on at that time. Yeah. So self-awareness is the ability to monitor our inner and external world. Our thoughts and feelings arise as signals. What are we thinking? Do we think about good thing, or sometimes we always think about the sad thing, about failure? But oh, I cannot this, I cannot that. That means we have to manage our thoughts and feelings as well. Developing self-awareness requires an information gathering perspective, so it increases our adaptability and flexibility. Okay, at the workplace, it is very important to have adaptability skills and to be flexible. Okay, how do we adapt to a new environment? How do we adapt to the new working culture? How do we adapt to one deadlines after another? How do we adapt to the new what we call it the vision mission by the organization? How do we adapt to the new job description, for example? Yeah. So an increased self-awareness builds resilience. I think you often uh, hear the words resilience. Okay, self-awareness also improves our ability to empathize with others. That means we put in their shoes. However, we don't get emotional. We empathize, but we are not dragged into that emotional bandwagon. We know how to detach and we know how to attach, yeah, the how to empathize with others. Okay, Shahira, the next slide. So we can say very important, our self-awareness enable the person to find the right direction in life and career. I think at your stage now, even at my stage, is very, very important. Yeah. One to find the direction in life, another one to find the direction in our career. All right. Second, self-awareness enable the person to build relationships with other people. This is of utmost importance because professionalism, when we start working, we like it or not, we have to build relationship with other people. We cannot work alone. Normally, we will work in a team. We have to collaborate with others. We have to assign a certain job to others. A certain job we can do it ourselves, but some we have to pass it to others. And we have as well what we call it as a social circle or workplace circle, yeah, of which we will be in as long as we are working in that organization. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so now I want you to spend, since the time we on 10:22, just spend about 10 minutes if you can. Self-check questions. Okay, next slide, please, Shahira. Okay, let me read a little bit in here. Now I want you to have a self-check questions for yourself. Yeah, below are self-check questions to help us to be aware of our personal and professional objectives. Okay, at this time, I think you already know what is your personal and your professional objectives. Even if you are a bit blur on your personal and professional objectives, is this the right time to ask yourself, okay, what is my personal and professional objectives? And to create sense of alignment within ourselves. Very important for us to have a calm interior, okay, and hopefully we can have a calm exterior as well. So it helps to set our inner self for what matters the most and for purposeful life and career journey. So it allows us to gain clarity of issues. Okay, if we have issues now, it helps us to clarify our issues and a clearer view and options to explore to who we are now. Where are we now? Okay, some of you are in your fourth year, some of you just graduated, still applying for jobs, some of you just started. Who we are now and to who we are becoming, who we want to be, from where we are now to where we want to be. All right. First one is strength. What am I good at? Can ask yourself. Each one of us has something that we are good at. Which activities require less effort? Okay, this can help us to gauge what are our strengths. Activities that require less effort. What have I been recognized for in my life or in my student life if you are still studying, in my career or in my life in general? Okay, that is on strength. I want you to gauge your own strength. Second is passions. What make me happy? What do I enjoy? What do I look forward to doing? What energizes me? Then you can put scaling. For example, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being um, the higher strength, how happy am I with my life right now? If you are super happy, that means 9, 10. If you sometimes feel sad, perhaps you are below 5. What are the things that make me happy? Values. What feels most useful? What is most important to me in my life and why? Okay, what are your values? Which work outcomes make me most proud? Values is important because when we are working, if the workplace, a purpose is does really not align with our values, we will not be comfortable in that workplace. Okay, so it is very important for us to gauge our values and aspirations, we call it, to ensure that we are aligned with our values. The work that we take, it is aligned with our values. Okay, what are the highest priorities for my life and how does my work fit in? Okay, goals. Another important thing, what creates a sense of forward momentum? What do I envision for myself next? Next could be 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and so on. Is my life one of my choosing? Relationships. How do I relate to others? It is important on many levels because personal levels as well as professional levels. How does my work enhance my family and social connections? Okay, now it's 10:26. 10 minutes, yeah. 10. If you can make it by, if 10 minutes, by 10:40. That means you have about 14 minutes, yeah. Try to self-check yourself. Okay, Shahira, we give our participants until 10:40, yeah? Then come back to the session again at 10:40.
Okay, Doctor.
All right. Okay, welcome back. And okay, can I have some feedback whether you manage to get to identify, for example, your strength, goals, what is your goals, and for example, how do you relate to your friends, your subordinates, your family, and so on? Anybody would like to share feedback? For example, strengths. Did you manage to identify your strengths? Okay, in that case, perhaps once you identify your strength, you can think about it, how you can align your strength with your career, yeah, the job that you're applying or your current job, and so on. That would be your niche area. You can start developing your niche area. So, such as the goals, the relationships, you know where you are now. You can what we call think about how you would like your relationship with others to be, yeah, at the workplace and on the personal level as well. Okay, Shahira, next slide, please. All right. This one no need to do. Values, we talked about values earlier on when we identified our values and aspirations, especially the priorities for in our life. Yeah. And how does our work fit in with our priorities? Okay. For example, I give an example. Um, for example, a person feel that education is the highest priority, or empowering others, get people to educate themselves and so on. Perhaps they will be in education line in terms of career wise. Okay, or even in education, there are many other organizations that put the education as their platform. Yeah. All right. And think about in your own at your own time, yeah, later on, think about the influence of your values and aspirations on your character. What are your priorities in life? And how does it align, or how does it influence your character, the way you carry yourself, and so on? And as well as your relationship with yourself, your family, your friends, with colleagues, and at the workplace. Yeah. So think about your strength earlier on. Think about your values and aspirations. Think about your relationship with others, um, your passions, and so on. And how does those, how, and think about how the factors or the output of your strengths, values, aspirations, your relationship with others influence your character, influence your relationship with yourself and others. Yeah. Okay. Next slide, please. All right. This is an important trait at the workplace. I think we often hear the word EQ, emotional quotient, emotional intelligence. Okay. Um, when we recognize, we understand and manage our own emotions, and learning how to manage those emotions, both our own and others. Okay. In the workplace, emotional intelligence is an important trait to have. So the question will be, how do you manage your own emotion? For example, during interview, during internship, at the workplace, even in the university, okay, in general. So this relates back to awareness. Do we aware of our own emotions? Once we aware of our own emotion, then we can manage our emotion better, especially for example, yeah, at the interview, we tend to get a bit panic. That is normal. We tend to be lost for words. That is normal. So if we know we are in that situation, perhaps a bit more preparations or a technique to calm us down. Okay, once we are aware that for example, whenever we go for interview, we tend to get jittery, we tend to get panicky. Whatever we want to say, we cannot say. So perhaps we can do mock interview with our friend, as well as what we call it other work placement, yeah, internship and at the workplace. All right, next slide, please. Okay, this one you can gauge yourself. This is we are talking about self-belief and self-confidence. All right. I put here starting point and up to limitless potential. Um, Starting point is this is where we start explore our potential, our strengths, our potential to go further, and so on. And once we explore our potential, we can practice good habits. And with a little bit of perseverance, grit, and resilience, then we can go to limitless potential. Okay, limitless potential. In a way, you can do what you set your mind to do. Um, this one I since it's gonna it's just a short session today. There's another one is how do we unblock our limited beliefs? We feel that we cannot do. We feel that oh, I don't think so I can do that job. I don't think I'm going to apply for that job because I think I'm not good enough. That is limited. What we call it, how do we unblock that limited belief? Okay, we limit ourselves with our own belief, whereas we have to open it to say that, hang on, I can do it. Yes, I will apply. Even if I'm not good yet, I will spend the next 1 month or 2 months to polish that skills. For example, for all the audience here, you are all engineering students and graduates. So you already have many skills already. Yeah. So it's just that you need to polish it. You need to practice good habits to polish your own strengths and skills. Okay. Then you can ask yourself, where am I? You can gauge yourself. If I'm at 0, 1, 2, what do I need to do to reach that point 9 or 10 at limitless potential? Okay, next slide, please, Shahira. All right, these are essential skills, I call it, for career development. Number one, we know how to build rapport. Our presence, we must have presence, yeah, build rapport, how we relate to others, how do we call it, introduce ourselves, how do we get the conversation to start. Presence is not just present physical. Presence, it will include everything. I would say it physically or bodily, mentally, emotionally, and sometimes we need spiritually as well. Meaning that we have to know, for example, what we are talking about. We have to be there, presence. You will notice this when we are talking to somebody, the body is there, but the mind is somewhere else. Okay, presence is important. Mutual respect. So we have to have the mutual respect and trust. Trust can be developed, trust can be built. And these are build rapport, presence, mutual respect, trust are the platform. On the top of that, we were talking about self-awareness. We were talking about self-belief. Include responsibility, accountability, and so on, or ownership. When you own it, you will give your best. When you own your job, you will give the best that you can give. And if you feel that certain skills that you are a bit lacking, you will go for training. A certain skills that you feel that it can be polished further, you start read more books, you start attending many seminars and so on, just to polish your skills. That is ownership, to give our best. And listening, we have about 11 minutes. I do hope we can touch a little bit later on the listening and questioning. How do we listen effectively? How do we question for effective communication? We call it powerful questioning. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, essential skills for employability, critical and analytical thinking. All our engineering graduates have this. Communication skills. Okay, we will see there are four types. Yeah, people, the way people communicate. Adaptability, collaboration or teamwork. Once you know your strength, easier for us to collaborate and to develop teamwork. Time management, organization, technology use, information use. I think our graduates, you are all very good at this. And personality traits and leadership. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, effective communication. This is very important because at the workplace, okay, communications is of utmost important, clear and direct communication. So for active, we call it active listening. How do we listen? Displaying a willingness to listen can help alleviate conflict. So we encourage the speaker by asking questions and showing interest. Validate the speaker. Restate the speaker's message. Center the conflict by trying to find the key points of the message. How do we listen? All right. In other words, we say when we listen, um, we can hear the pin drops. That is our internal state. So we don't judge. It's not our agenda when we listen. It is the speaker's agenda. Whomever talking to us try to communicate is their agenda, not our agenda. Yeah. Okay. Non-verbal communication. We have communication without even saying a word. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. A non-verbal communication is communication without even saying a word. So we can say that around 70 to 80% of our communication is non-verbal in nature. So be open and consistent in our body language. It is actually helping to diffuse emotion. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the non-verbal communication or body language. Say, if I take from top clockwise, ways of talking. For example, pauses, stress on words and and so on. Hand movement. Some people do a lot of waving. Yeah. Sounds, laughing, for example. Head movements. Sometimes we nod, sometimes we turn left and right. Eye movement. Okay, winking. This is communication. When you wink, people might reciprocate your communication. It depends. Yeah. Closeness. This is sometimes we have to know the closeness. Yeah. For example, if you go for interview because you are at the stage where in your fourth year, some looking for a job, there is a certain more or less distance, yeah, between the interviewer and you yourself. People who we don't know, sometimes we don't want to go too close. Yeah. Appearance doesn't mean you have to wear expensive clothes and so on. Yeah. Make sure you are tidy, appropriate for the occasion. Okay, 1 minute. Okay. And facial expressions. For example, we frown, and posture, slouching. When we sit, uh, uh, we slouch when we sit, as if we have no interest in what the other person is saying. Yeah. Body contact, shaking hand. I think you know this. When we shake hands, make sure it is a firm, but don't grip it too hard. Yeah. There's a professional conduct. Yeah. Firm. Look at the person's eyes. A good body posture, don't slouch, and so on. Yeah. So, the way we present ourselves is very important. Okay, because it can communicate many things. Okay, because we can say 70 to 80% is a non-verbal communications. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, four types of communication styles: passive aggressive, and assertive. Passive, normally we cannot express our feelings or needs, and And normally we are lacking of outward communication and can cause misunderstanding or resentment in the passive communicator himself or herself, and do not like confrontation and often defer to others. Yeah, aggressive. We know what is aggressive. Very aggressive manner could be loud, blaming, can sometimes can go very physical. Okay, intimidating, criticizing, and so on. There's another terms combining the two, which is passive aggressive. Appear quiet, do not want to say anything on the surface, but building up resentment or anger inside. Okay, and it might one of the display of passive aggressive, perhaps if there is a deadline, they purposely not follow the deadline, not because they cannot follow the deadline. There are things sometimes we are unable to meet the deadline because of massive workloads, but this is purposely delaying or not giving the, for example, reports on the stated date. This is a passive aggressive behavior. The best of all of which we should emulate is assertive. Assertive communicators can express their own needs, desires, ideas, and feelings while also considering the needs of others. For assertive speaker or communicator, we can say no in a good way. For example, if your colleague at your workplace asks you to do a certain type of job or certain part of the project of which you feel that you are unable to deliver, you can tell them nicely, I'm so sorry, I don't think so, I can do this. So the answer would be no for this time, perhaps next time. Okay, that is an assertive speaker. You can say no, you can express your feeling, you can say no in a good way. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, being assertive means expressing what we want or believe in and is an important part of clear communication. So if we say that we want to feel and explain why we have chosen a certain decisions or action, we can reduce the probability of being misunderstood. That's why self-awareness and awareness of our emotions and surrounding is very important so that we are free to express what we want or believe in, and we can do it in a ethical way or in a good manner. So we can communicate clearly. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Slide's not moving, Shaira.
Doctor, sorry, we have a blackout here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yes, so sorry. I'll try.
So it's all right. It's okay. Take your
Okay,
time. Yeah.
okay, okay.
Okay. Okay, while waiting for Shahira to sort out the slides, may I get feedback? It will be the last question actually, but because of our time, how well currently do you leverage on your own strength? How well do you use your strength? Okay. All right. We are down about slides 13. So we just need about, I will speed up another 5 minutes, yeah? 13 or what slide is that? I cannot remember just now. Oh, we lost you again. Can you scroll down? Scroll down, 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 more. Next slide. Next slide. Before that, before that, before that, before that, before that. Okay, okay, next slides, please. Okay, next slides. Okay, next slides. All right, listening. Okay, we know that good listening, just like a good communication, is very important. Okay, next slides. I'll try to wrap up in a few minutes. Problem solving, I think our engineering graduate has no problem analyzing facts and figures, defining challenges, and then how we devise contingency plans, assessing process, create and implementing solutions. Next slides, please. Adaptability, that means we are willing to learn, yeah, and open-minded and like to learn. Then we will draw conclusions from our mistakes to invent new, more efficient ways of performing our task. This is very important attitude that employers normally look for, yeah, adaptability. Next slide, please. Teamwork and time management, another one, is being able to work with people of different background, ages, religions, and political options. That means be open-minded and non-judgmental. Okay, this is how we relate to others is very important. Yeah? Recognizing each team member's strengths and weaknesses to assign tasks accordingly. So when we identify our strengths, that's why I asked you earlier, have you identified your strengths? And when we identify aware of our team member strengths, then we can assign the job accordingly. And of course, accepting accountability for the outcome, and we can resolve conflicts within the team. And important is plan and manage our time efficiently so we can design schedules, milestones, deadlines, and so on. Next, please. Okay, another one is proactive, motivated. For example, specific skills. In engineering, we have many skills, and leadership. Next slides. Okay, communication skills, listen, empathize, draw logical conclusions, we build rapport, adapt language to our audience, act accordingly upon the information that we gather. We don't distort the information to our own perspectives, yeah. Otherwise, our communication or the message will be distorted. Next slides, please. Okay, fundamental leadership skills, self-awareness, communication, influence, that means presence. We talked about presence earlier on. Learning, agility, perseverance, grit, and resilience. Okay, next slides, please. We are nearly there. Okay, self-awareness, we know it already. Communication, we know it already. Influence, meaning presence, responsibility, accountability, ownership, where we develop our influence and leadership skills help to communicate our vision and goals, align the efforts of others, and we can build commitment from people at all levels. Okay, ultimately, we can say influence allows us to get things done and achieve desirable outcomes. Okay, next slides. Okay, learning agility, that means perseverance, grit, and resilience. We need the ability to constantly be in a learning mode, even after the university years, yeah? And active learners, even at the workplace, we still have to learn new skills, new way of doing things, etc. Often value and seek out new knowledge and better ways. Learning agility involves learning from mistakes, asking insightful questions, and being open to feedback. Okay, thanks people for their feedback. Learning agility is also about inspiring learning in others and creating a culture of learning throughout the organization. Okay, next slides, please. Perseverance, we know it already. Continue the effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties, failure, and or opposition. We learn this in the university and even the same scenario at the workplace. Okay, uh, we continue our effort even though we face difficulties and uncertainties. Steadfastness, that means the quality of being resolutely or dutifully firm and unwavering. We don't waver. Okay, next slides. I think we're nearly there. I think 29 slides altogether. Grit and resilience. The concept of grit and resilience in general is used to describe the ability to persevere through hardships to meet our goals. Earlier on, we were talking about goal setting. Okay, we need to have a time management, career management, self management, and we set the goals. So we need to persevere through hardships to meet our goal. So a grit also defined as perseverance and passion toward long-term goals and describe sustained commitment toward completing a specific endeavor despite episodes of failure, setback, and adversity. The best example is you are coping with 4 years of university years in order for you to achieve a degree in engineering, for example, yeah, and resilience as well refers to one's ability to maintain or regain healthy mindset after experiencing adversity. We are so resilient. Doesn't matter what kind of difficult situation that we are facing, we maintain a healthy mindset. In more simple terms, resilient individuals exhibit the ability to bounce back from stressful and negative experiences. Okay, next. Okay, key factors if you want to create your high performance career. Clear direction, you must know your vision, you must know your goals, etc. Everything must be made clear. And commitment to yourself or commitment to the organization and commitment among members, yeah, if it is for organization. For yourself, commitment to yourself to achieve your best. Effective communication, you must communicate effectively. Then normally for the organization, they want a competent and good characters and open and adaptable to change. And of course, very important is spirit of collaboration. That means you must be a good team player. Next, I think the last one. All right. Okay, since we are a bit over the time, any questions or any feedback, any opinion? Okay, if there is no questions, thank you for being here. I wish you all the best, yeah, in your future career. Thanks. Thank you, Shaira.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
All right. Goodbye.
Doctor, I think if we can last for the photography session, if anyone can open their camera. So
Okay, I don't open, yeah. It's okay, yeah.
it's okay. It's
All
okay.
right. Okay.
If you just take a few screenshots,
All right.
if there's anyone.
Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you to Dr. Wan for your time and also everyone. Okay, have a nice weekend and see you all in the next session. Okay,
Okay. Bye.
bye. Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Thank you.